Welcome to YouTube. It is Charles here, and the book I'm going to talk about today is a horror book from Boom Comics. And when I say that this story is haunting, I mean that even though I finished it over a week ago, and it's only 3 issues, mind you, but the story stuck with me, and it disturbed me, and it intrigued me. And the more that I thought about it, the more, I have been enjoying the residual effects of this story. And it is The War from Boom Studios. 3-issue run of a book about the horrors of war. And it's not a traditional war story because it's not about the battlefield. It's not about the soldiers. It's about the horror that the people who are affected most, the people on the ground, how they are affected, and what they see of the war from their side. And it takes you from the very beginning of said war, be it rumors, whispers, something being not real to this group of people, to by the end of the first issue, it is far too real. And it gets darker and darker and darker until it's gruesome, yet somehow logical end. I don't want to give away too many plot points or spoilers, but basically it is about a group of friends, and it has a slight survival horror aspect to it, because this group, one by one, end up succumbing to the war. And we end up with, the final couple and their gruesome end. And you get moments of hope where you think they may realize where they may make it, and you realize by the middle of this book, things are going to end tragically. And by the time you get to the end, boy, does it. You start off with a very typical scene of 3 couples having a dinner party, and they're in New York, and they're discussing the Ukraine-Russia war, and it is something, like I said, that they're kind of dismissive of because it's way over there, and so they're not going to be affected by it. And you get to know these people individually and a little bit of their histories. And the first part was actually, I read the first part of book number 1 in the horror anthology from Boom Studios called Hello Darkness. It was in the first issue. And they put the first act in there, and then they released it as its own book later in the year. And by the first act ends with them just wrapping up the dinner party and going home, and the last page of the first act, this couple is laying in bed, and the husband, he gets up, looks at his phone, and he looks over at his wife, and it ends with "London's gone." And that was where you were left off at the end of the first act, is them realizing that London is gone, and you realize the gravity of that being that the wife in the next act, you find out, is from London, and her whole family has been wiped off the face of the earth. And so the war becomes something very real and personal to this couple. And it not only affects them tangentially, but very, very actually by the end of the first book. And so I don't want to give away too much more of it. It's written by Garth Ennis. Let's get a look at the team. I love Garth Ennis. You may recognize him from shows like The Boys. He created Jennifer Blood, I believe. A lot of stuff he's known for is gritty, kind of action-packed stuff, at least from what I've read. But this is really not so much action-packed as it is psychological horror. But it's written by Garth Ennis, illustrated by Becky Cloonan, and her art is very, very grim. It's full of life and texture, but what she captures is so grim, it's almost surrealistic. And the coloring is Tamara Bonvillain and lettered by Pat Brousseau. Like I said, it is from Boom Studios, and the trade paperback comes out February 26th. And I highly suggest you get it because it is truly a great book. A book that I think could realistically be adapted into a movie or a TV series. Um, for 3 books, you get a brilliant story, and if you can find these in individual issues, I would highly suggest it. It is one of the hardest yet most enjoyable reads I've had all year. When I say it's a hard read, I don't mean difficulty, I mean emotional difficulty getting through to you because the characters are written so real and the action is written so real. So that's it for today. Let me know if you guys read it, what you think of it. Check it out at your local comic book store. If you don't have a local comic book store, pay my friend Jeff a visit at coffeeandacomic.com. He will send you out complimentary coffee with every order, so check them out, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.